As many rappers come up, their status within the industry becomes more valuable to them, eventually having numerous rappers sacrificing their own relationships with people to help grow their careers. This would be due to them developing an ego. Ego could be best described as a person's self-esteem or self-importance. As we all know, the hip-hop scene is full of shady relations of people putting themselves first. After all, the rap scene is a very competitive sport.
I was about to say, but I'm like, is that really a bad thing? I feel like it's a bad thing if you make it your whole persona. Because niggas be doing it for no reason. Like, be egoing like crazy when it's like unnecessary.
However, what happens when competitiveness becomes more aggressive than just a friendly competition? So I narrowed down the 3 best rappers that depicted the destruction of friendships when you develop too highly of an ego. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The first rapper that we should take a look at best describes himself as a god.
I am a god. Everybody says, who does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was. A god.
Kanye West has had multiple egotistical moments, from when he decided to walk up on stage during the Taylor Swift speech.
I mean, it's Kanye though. Can you blame him? It's Kanye. No matter what has happened to him, like how much he's gotten canceled, bro, he's had a #1 song with Carti and Rich the Kid. Like, I'm not saying no god. What? Tripping, but his ego, his catalog makes up for it.
The VMAs to tell Beyonce she deserved the award, not her. To him claiming he's the Michael Jordan of music, which gives him the right to complain when he doesn't get nominated for Album of the Year. Nevertheless, there was one moment within Ye's career where his ego decided to clap back at him. Kanye and Drake first met in 2008, while in Hawaii due to Kanye working on his groundbreaking project 808 and Heartbreaks. They would also discuss working on Drake's debut album. This was a huge thing for the Toronto rapper due to Ye being one of Drake's biggest inspirations. This seemed like the beginning of something special for the two, as Kanye would attend numerous of Drake's shows to even help direct the Best I Never Had music video in 2009. Within the same year, they would release the legendary single Forever alongside Lil Wayne and Eminem. This was Drake's first huge moment within the scene, because as Jay-Z claimed, he was able to keep up with Eminem, Kanye, and Lil Wayne on the same track. He also explained how much potential he has to be on top of the rap game.
He just needs to focus.
That song was literally 2018 Warriors.
I mean, he's proved that he's very talented, with that mixtape, which was phenomenal.
Following this, Kanye and Drake's relationship grew even more by Kanye providing lyrics to a song that was intended for Rihanna to Drake, which showed how much Kanye was really impressed by Drake's talent. The song would also end up being on his debut album, Thank Me Later, which dropped on January 1st, 2010. The song ended up being his hit song titled Find Your Love. It ended up ranking over 163 million streams on Spotify and 140 million views on YouTube. This also wasn't the only song Kanye wrote on the project as well. By this point in Drake's career, he began to become one of the biggest names in hip-hop. It also looked like Drake's popularity was only going to increase as his career continued as well. This is when the story between the two begins to take a turn, as Kanye soon began to realize the powerhouse Drake was. He felt as if Drake was the only one that would be able to overthrow him as the quote-unquote best rapper. This is something he has touched upon within some interviews.
I look at Drake as like an amazing sparring partner. Someone's like, come on man, get back up.
But as Kanye said to him, Drake was just a sparring partner. He only took Drake's spotlight as just some friendly competition. After all, according to Ye, Drake was the first huge artist that was able to compete on his level. Kanye would slowly start to realize that he accidentally developed his biggest rival. By the end of 2010, Kanye felt as if Drake's ego was getting to him because he could be seen working with many artists as well as being seen with Ye's ex. Now, this could be seen as Kanye feeling inferior to Drake, which would be why he started moving differently in 2011, which also would be around the time where conversations about Lil Wayne and a Drake collab album begin to immerse. The label behind Drake, Young Money Entertainment, would tease the project by one of the label founders, Birdman, would state, because Wayne works a lot and Drake is out there with us too, they're gonna do a lot of recording together. So I don't see why not. To purposely take attention away from Drake, Kanye would start announcing his joint project with Jay-Z called Watch the Throne. Drake felt
Another great one. Oh my gosh, I remember my parents used to fiend Kanye's music, bro. Kanye and Jay-Z. Oh my, that's all I heard in the early 2010s.
extremely salty about this, After all, he was going to release a huge project with his predecessor. Tension between the two would rise once more following the release of Kanye's My Beautiful Twisted Dark Fantasy album. As for starters, the song All of the Lights was originally intended to have a Drake feature. His verse for his feature would get leaked on March 17th, 2011, in which fans were quick to spot something peculiar with his bars. Worrying about your old girl, trying to see if she's mine. Dude, she's with me when she tells you she needs some me time. It's our time, so fuck y'all. These lines could be interpreted as Drake talking about the time he spent with Kanye's ex. Now, was this due to Ye's wanting revenge, or was it this one of those times where he was trying to perfect his craft? Since Kanye is known for taking features off his songs last minute. At the end of the
I seen this nigga in a paparazzi scene. He was leaving some store. This nigga, he was in LA. He had leather tight ass jeans on with no underwear. And when he got in, you could see his whole moon. Like, imagine your dick getting caught in a zipper. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry I put that in your head, my fault.
day, we may never know. Then on May 10th, 2011, the track I'm On One with Drake and DJ Khaled, Drake explains how the throne was for the taking, and he's going to take it. This was an obvious diss towards Kanye and Jay-Z. Interestingly enough though, when Drake responded to the outcry of the fans that came from the diss, he only apologized to Jay-Z and not Kanye. Now, fast forwarding to October 2011, where Drake did an interview with The Source where he claims Kanye as his greatest competitor and that his ultimate goal is to surpass Kanye, stating that I don't want to be as good as Kanye, which does coincide with what he mentioned earlier by taking over the throne. Over the course of the
That's not bad though. Saying you don't want to be as good, that's saying you want to be better than them, that's like one up for you. That's like boosting yourself up to do better. Because if you're saying you want to be better than someone, that's literally giving them a compliment. They're already at the top and you're trying to surpass them. That's what you look up to.
The next 2 years, their beef would slowly start to be in the dark, since there is no activity between the two. It won't be until October 2013, where Kanye brought out Drake to perform, in which they seem to be on good terms again. In fact, discussions about a collaboration album between the two started to take place. It would be named Wolves, and there were countless of billboards promoting the project. However, this album never got to see the light of day. One thing I would like to mention though, was that based on Kanye's attitude when talking about the project on The Breakfast Club, it seemed that he and Drake were healthy again, with him even being nervous to give out too much information regarding the album because he believed that Drake would be mad at him. Sadly, Kanye's ego would consume him once more during the Life of Pablo tour in 2016, where he went on a rant complaining how much radio exposure Drake and DJ Khaled were getting with their song For Free. Although Drake was pretty confused about the sudden switch up by Kanye, many believe that Ye acted this way as a result of Drake's bar referencing Kanye's pool. In fact, this bar seemed to affect Kanye so much to the point where he replaced his own pool with an entire lake in his backyard. Although this was pretty excessive, Drake and Kanye seemingly were able to make up by—
It made him so mad. You just spent money. Like, who you know doing? Yo, that is some egotistical shit, bro. Man, it got him so mad. He just blew a bag.
2017, hence Kanye being on Drake's project More Life, where he was on the song Glow. Although to Kanye, this might have been seen as an easy cash grab because his hatred towards Drake would still live on. This would not be seen until 2018, where Ye came up with his most devious plan yet. By this time, Kanye began talking to Drake again to settle the differences behind closed doors. This was also the same time where Kanye began developing his next album, Ye, while at a ranch in Wyoming. He initially invited Drake to come to the studio session for them to work together on Drake's tape, Scorpion, as well as Kanye's. Drake would quickly attend the session but instantly regretted it once he noticed how off the energy was in the room. According to Drake, once he arrived at the studio, they did not even work on Drake's album and instead only focused on Kanye. Ye would also begin to ask Drake many questions about his life, some being about his unknown son at the time, as well as discussing the release date of Scorpion. In return, Drake would receive a beat that Kanye really wanted him to have. The reason why Kanye would want to know the release date of Scorpion was so he could easily disrupt the first week sales of the project by releasing his own. Kanye's vitriolic plan came into fruition too, because shortly after Drake came back from Wyoming, he announced the Scorpion were released on June 29th, 2018. Just days following the announcement, Kanye would declare the summer of 2018 as Good Music Summer, in which he plans to executive produce 5 projects, 2 of which are his own. They would all be produced by him and contain 7 songs. The first Kanye project within his Good Music Summer was Ye, which was immediately followed by his joint album with Kid Cudi titled Kids See Ghosts.
Bro, that album made me cry. Both Cudi Montage, the album, that song, cry. And Reborn, I think that was the other one. I think it was 2 ones I like.
Deriving the attention away from Drake following his Scorpion announcement. To make matters even worse, Kanye decided to drop a song using the beat that he initially gave to Drake.
I hope it's not what I think it is, bro. I seen someone write a comment about it. I hope it's not the song I reacted to, bro.
This track was named Lift Yourself.
It definitely was.
I'll let you guys hear what Ye did on this beat.
Scoop. I don't want to be reminded, bro.
Scoop dee dee whoop. Whoop dee scoop dee.
As you can probably tell, the entire purpose of delivering the single was to troll Drake, thus officially making his trip to Wyoming utterly useless. As if it could not get any worse, one of the projects Kanye produced for Good Music Summer was Daytona by Pusha T. As I mentioned earlier, Ye would produce every song on Daytona. This is significant because the last track on his project, Infrared, reignited the beef with Drake by calling out his alleged ghostwriter multiple times. Obviously, Drake would respond to Pusha T's diss by dropping his own diss track called Duppy Freestyle on the same day. He would include bars that shot at Pusha as well as Kanye, telling Pusha T that, "What do you really think of the guy that's making your beats? I've done things for him I thought they would never need. Father had to stretch his hands out and get it from me." As well as the title of the song Duppy, which is Jamaican for ghost, referencing Ye's project Kids See Ghosts. Unfortunately for Drake, he ended up pushing Kanye over the edge.
How do niggas be finding these encrypted messages and songs? Like, I never would have. I thought Duppy was like an English word for something else. That means ghost in Jamaican.
Because what he allegedly did next is unforgiving. Pusha T would respond to Drake on the track The Story of Adidon just 4 days later. I would also like to point out that
I like how we just skipped over that. Like, this was crazy, and it literally only pushed Drake. Like, after that, everyone was just swept under the rug, as well as that cover, because, yeah, blackface is not offensive at all.
that this was one of the most disrespectful diss tracks I've ever heard. This comes from the fact that towards the middle of the song, he name drops his son Adonis. This would end up being the first time the public became aware of his son. Drake felt so defeated, in fact, that in an interview, he even admits that he lost this war. However, Drake's and Kanye's relationship would forever be hindered.
And we just swept under the rug, because what? Drake got a kid. Let's all support him.
Due to the obvious realization that Kanye leaked the information about Adonis to Pusha T. As for starters, Kanye was one of the few people who even knew the existence of Adonis Graham. Due to this, Drake did not make a diss track responding to this, but never released it, by him saying it's not something he wants to be remembered by. However, people who are close to Drake mentioned that the information he spat on those bars would utterly destroy Kanye's career, allowing fans to begin speculating what those bars were. The biggest rumor being that Drake slept with Kanye's wife at the time, Kim Kardashian. Even though this was mainly speculation, fans believe that the lyrics from Sicko Mode and In My Feelings supported this, with the popular theory being that the Kiki, Do You Love Me part of In My Feelings is a reference to Kim.
I heard about
At
that.
this point, Drake has taken over Kanye's mind, because he would deny providing the information about Adonis to Pusha T. Interestingly, he would never deny the rumors of Drake sleeping with his wife, which insinuates that he believed them. This depicts Kanye's pride about his artistry has elevated to a point where it's more important than Kim. From here, the conflict between them would quiet down publicly until early September. This is when Kanye put out a series of tweets apologizing to Drake for walking all over his album release and for using the Lift Yourself beat. To Drake, he could not trust Kanye's word after everything he's done within that year. Instead of leaving it as be, Kanye felt entitled to a response by him. Continuing to 2021, where Drake and Kanye were beginning to roll out their albums, which once again, it looked like Kanye was pushing his project back so he could wait for Drake. Drake would seemingly respond to this claim by stating on the track Betrayal with Trippie Redd that Ye ain't changing shit for him, and that's set in stone. Kanye immediately responded to this by leaking Drake's address on his Instagram page. This is such an insane response, but that's Kanye being Kanye. Then Ye would release his project Donda on August 29th, with Drake dropping his Certified Lover Boy album 5 days later. A few weeks passed by, and Drake decided to leak a song that was intended for Donda, titled Life's a Party, featuring Andre 3000 on his radio station. He would soon follow this.
That song was so beautiful, bro. waste removal. Oh my, yo, these niggas is literally having an ego off. This is insane, bro.
By posting a picture with the caption waste removal. The reason behind this was because on the song, Kanye would diss Drake once again by claiming that without his influence, Drake wouldn't exist. However,
I mean, duh. He's literally one of his favorite artists of all time. To this day, regardless of the beef, that is his idol. At the end of the day, I stand on that. I don't care what nobody said. Without Ye, there's no Drake.
Andre 3000 did not want to be involved with their altercation, so he asked Kanye to redo his verse in order for them to release it to the public, in which he does, and puts the song on the deluxe for Donda. After this, the rivalry would die down a bit until Kanye apologizes to Drake for a second time in a video with Jay Prince. Within the video, he asked Drake to do a collab concert to earn revenue to free Larry Hoover.
I'm asking Drake on December 7th to join me on stage as a special guest to share the 2 biggest albums of the year, live.
And then what? Drake didn't. I forgot what song he dropped. He said he was only doing this for him. I already forgot his name. Was it Rich Paul?
In Los Angeles.
Not Rich Paul. I already forgot his name.
With the ultimate purpose being
Jay Prince. He said he was only doing this for Jay Prince.
Larry Hoover.
Surprisingly, Drake obliges to his offer and they both perform together, as well as post a picture with each other. Although it looked like their feud has finally ended, Drake could not stop himself from being wary of Kanye. He would keep distance from him and diss him on the track Circle Loco of his joint project Her Loss with 21 Savage, claiming that he only linked with Kanye for Jay Prince, which was ironic because he was seen.
I'm so in tune with this, bro, because I love both of them. I do. But it's just like, why can't they just... Bro, if they had an album together, I swear that's breaking the internet.
At the show crying at Ye's performance. Ye would also respond to Drake on Twitter before receiving his ban. He even claims in an interview that Drake is the best rapper. However, Drake was not feeling his praise and released Search and Rescue in 2023, with Kanye's ex-wife on the cover, finally revealing that both of their egos would never stop clashing amongst each other. But what happens when one of their predecessors develops an ego of their own? In 2015, rising Atlanta rapper Playboi Carti formed his group Splur Gang with his 2 closest friends, Uno the Activist.
Oh wait, I heard about that. Well, I literally watched a video about this.
And Thousand Band Fani. Uno and Carti grew up with each other due to them being family friends, thus causing many to believe they're actual cousins. Due to them being so close, they would eventually start making music around the same time. In fact, you could spot Uno next to Carti within Carti's first music video. Uno would then meet Fani at a house party in which they got closer after they jumped Uno's roommate. Carti would eventually meet Fani through Uno. Although the 3 of them would always be seen together, they did not have a ton of music out together. However, they would always work together behind the scenes. Eventually, they decided to create a group with each other called Splur Gang in 2015. Whilst in Splur Gang, they made songs like Splur Gang where they rap about having a lavish lifestyle by splurging, hence their name. These Hoes, where they describe how they spend their time with girls over a spacey beat. V-Lone Thugs, which was a part of ASAP Mob's Wavy Wednesday series, and a clear shout out to ASAP Bari's brand, V-Lone. Both Carti and Uno would represent themselves as V-Lone Thugs as well. What, in which Carti and Uno repeats Carti's iconic ad-lib, What. The music video for this track was also uploaded to ASAP Rocky's channel to promote them. Not only would they create music together, they would also sometimes call each other out, in which each time they mentioned Splur Gang within that song. Despite the fact they're showing massive love towards each other, the group would face 2 major challenges that would end up having Playboi Carti destroy his relationship with Uno and Fani. For starters, the year is 2015, and Ian Connor recently introduced Carti.
He got introduced to Rocky and started pushing him away. He just kept climbing. Basically, he just kept climbing the ranks, and that's literally how it happens. I guess he didn't bring him up. It's just like, no, Uno got into something with the new people or Carti was hanging around. I'm gonna just let y'all.
To ASAP Rocky. This introduction became the first time he was brought up to ASAP Mob. Since Uno would have a tight bond with Carti, he would usually be seen with the mob as well. In fact, the 2 songs I mentioned earlier, V-Lone Thug and What, were dropped under Rocky's label, ASAP Worldwide Group Entertainment, or OG. Fani would also be seen with the mob as well. However, towards the beginning of the year, Carti would begin to link up with the mob more frequently. He would see this as a major business opportunity because of the mob's popularity. It would almost guarantee his rise to fame. This would cause him to distance himself from Uno and Fani. Although they were not seen together as often, they were all still cool with each other. Sadly, everything would soon come crashing down when Bloody Dior, who is the creative director and model for OG at the time, would come to an altercation over a girl with Uno. Then in October 2016, things escalated even further when Bloody Dior shot Uno Uno in the leg. Obviously, Fani would sign with Uno after the beef initiated. Interestingly though, Carti would still hang out with ASAP Mob, making it seem like he sided with them. Carti went as far as to call Bloody Dior his big bro, and even took photos with him back in 2020. Uno started to think that Carti was fake. It would only make matters worse when Bloody Dior released his diss track Free Smoke Part 3, attacking Uno. Free Smoke was also a series of diss tracks that Uno made, but we'll get into that later. Playboi Carti would still be in the dark about the situation. Instead, there were rumors revealing that Carti told Rocky that Uno and Fani were both bitch dudes. Uno would soon take to Twitter to clarify how he feels about his quote-unquote cousin, claiming that he's not a quote-unquote villain thug, then stating in 2018 that this ain't no diss, but I would never sell my soul for the fame. I would never change my family over pussy. I would never friend my brother's enemy. I would never talk down on family. So dude, don't fuck with him before they meet. All that devil worship feeding statues is out. And if a bro shot my brother, I would never call the shooter my big homie, especially when these guys babies out here. Then said, they selling their soul and getting fucked for fame. The secret is out. Uno would even release private DMs between him and Carti. Within the messages, it seemed like Carti was.
Oh, I didn't see this shit.
Uno would.
Carti. Uno. Before you make every song, bro, I need you to understand that it's cool, bro. We ain't got to be cool, but I ain't.
Even release private DMs.
You shouldn't come for nobody. I can come for whoever I want. Y'all niggas love saying my name. It's time that I check up on it because I'm only getting older, Uno. Wait, I don't speak about Snake. Snake, call me something cooler like Legion.
Within the messages,
not give a fuck.
It seemed like Carti wasn't taking their issues seriously, and even stated that he can come for whoever. The conversation ended with Carti threatening Uno. These tweets would not be the first time Uno talked about his relationship with Carti. On multiple tracks like Shine and Sad Truth Freestyle, where he touches upon his betrayal. But while this was happening, what exactly happened between Carti and Fani? It began when Fani and Yachty had problems with each other due to a girl who set Fani up to another Atlanta rapper named Slime Cito. He would also end up stealing Fani's chain. Unfortunately, for Yachty, he would post a flick of Fani's chain in which he claimed he never knew that it was his. However, instead of talking it out with Yachty, Fani would set out a series of tweets attacking Yachty. Fani even went as far as to shoot at Yachty's car after one of his shows. A year passes by following the incident and Fani has forgiven Yachty. One day, he would find Yachty at a music festival in which he then decided to walk up to him and congratulate him for his album. Yachty.
You forgave him after you shot him? Yeah. Crash out level 2000.
His bodyguards took this as a threat towards Yachty and began defending him.
Damn.
At last, Carti would be involved in this beef when a Fader interview would be released with him and Yachty a week later, thus causing Fani to believe Carti was being fake towards him. At the end of the day, Carti clearly showed he would put his career above his friends when it came to Uno. It also wouldn't help when Carti featured on Boat's project, Nothing to Prove, with the song Get Dripped a year later. Uno would easily be on Fani's side and decided to start his Free Smoke series by attacking Boat. Some time would pass after Uno and Fani's beef with Carti. Both Uno and Fani would reach a point where they don't like Carti, but they would not hold a grudge against him. Fani would state on an Insta Live that he still fucks with Carti, but can't forgive him for what he's done. Uno would remix Carti's famous song Pissy Pamper, in which a fan would comment underneath it that why would he remix a song with a dude that he does not like? Uno then replied by stating that he doesn't hate Carti. Uno would further state in an interview in 2020 that he has nothing against him, but everything he said about him still applies. Following the release of Whole Lotta Red, Uno still showed love towards Carti by tweeting at him. Although, career-wise, many can argue that Carti made the right decision by leaning towards his self-importance, because who knows where his career would have went if he didn't side with ASAP. Nonetheless, is it even worth completely demolishing a friendship, especially with someone that could have been considered family? By having his self-esteem so high and moving shady, Carti would throw his friendships just to reach new heights.
I mean, it seemed like they was causing too many problems. They was being a hazard. One was a crash out, the other one was just whipped.
Unlike Carti, what happens when you're on the other side of the coin, where your self-esteem is so low to a point where you feel inferior towards your peers, unintentionally making yourself egotistical just to be better than that one person? Lil Yachty has always faced many challenges throughout the course of his career. While coming up, he always needed to prove himself to the world. For example, when Lil Yachty appeared on The Breakfast Club, he stated he never writes down his freestyles due to him being nervous.
See, I never
Golden
I never
State
do that.
Warriors.
You want to do that? No, I'd never do that. I always give a written verse because I just don't want to go out like that.
This is understandable because he is new to the scene, and he hasn't perfected his craft. However, Ebro seemingly forced him into doing an off-the-dome freestyle in which he felt embarrassed because it wasn't that good.
Young nigga from the west side of town, red hair, gold teeth, but a nigga not a clown. Ooh, I'm trying to think what to do. I don't know. I'm not a rapper.
Following the release of this interview, he would end up responding to everyone by dropping the track 4 Hot 97 on his Summer Songs 2 mixtape. Ebro would ultimately take this as a diss on him by
That shit was ass. Another little rapper caught feelings, high school ass bars. Here we go again. Damn, ain't he added him?
responding to Yachty saying that he caught feelings. Yachty would provide Ebro with a proper response, but then quickly realized that he doesn't need their approval. Now, this is a great mindset to acquire. However, for Yachty, he quickly lost it due to his relationship with Philly rapper Lil Uzi Vert. Throughout his career, Bo has always had competition with Uzi, due to hip-hop being a naturally competitive sport. Although they're competing amongst one another, it doesn't mean it prevents them from being friends. Which is true because in the 2016 XXL Freshman Cypher, it seemed as if they were all cool with each other, especially Uzi, when they shouted out Little Boat during his freestyle. But during an interview with the Fader magazine, Yachty would state that they're not friends. It's not beef, just some competition. Now, this could be seen as Boat feeling inferior to Uzi due to him receiving more Billboard hits of that year, as well as fans debating who had the best verse on that XXL Cypher. When it comes down to releasing music, they haven't even dropped a track that features both of them together. It usually takes someone who is associated with the both of them in order for them to be on the same song. This can be seen in Cody Shane's Hold Up Doe Up track, featuring both of them. Unfortunately, the history behind this track does not show Uzi and Yachty coming together. This was originally made by Uzi and only by him, but was given to Cody Shane. She previewed it in one of her vlogs on her YouTube channel. This caused fans to desire the single, in which it eventually leaked online, thus forcing Cody to release the song herself with a Lil Yachty feature on her SoundCloud. To make tensions worse, fans even compared the two verses upon release. Some believe that Uzi leaked the song themselves in order for people to like theirs more, since they were more familiar with it. However, this could just be a stretch since Uzi is notorious for having their songs leak. Following this incident, in 2017, Uzi would preview a snippet for their highly anticipated debut studio album, Love Is Rage 2, in which Yachty decided to comment underneath the snippet saying, "Sound hard, but don't sound harder than that, Yachty." Uzi would respond with, "Put out your album so I could destroy that shit with mine. And don't rap through your nose on this one." Yachty then says passive aggressively, "Sounds like a challenge." Uzi would then clap back by telling Yachty that, "Your ass is mentally challenged. Don't try to bring that foolishness over here. You better finish your last challenge, now go find a new girl and stop worrying about boys." This seemed to be the first instance in which Boat's ego would be getting the best of him, for which this was the first public outing between the both of them within their beef. A couple years were passed by where not much happened between Yachty and Uzi until 2020, where it did seem Uzi was a little insecure about Yachty by randomly tweeting at Yachty saying, "Where you at? You know what you did in 2018." In which, understandably, Yachty was confused, until Uzi responded with JT, his girlfriend. Uzi was referring to when Boat dated JT back in 2018, when the City Girls were on the rise. He even helped write one of their songs called Act Up. Apparently though, Yachty would end up cheating.
I swear they discredited the City Girls. Once they found out he was on that shit, they discredited the City Girls to the ground, as if he literally did everything
on JT. As for Uzi, he may not be completely mad about this because he is in a good relationship with her. Instead, he could be using it as more of a reason to outperform Yachty. At the end of the day, no one really knows. It wouldn't be till 2023 where the two would clash once more. Lil Yachty is known to have a close relationship with global sensation Drake, in which he appeared to be on Drake's radio station OVO Sound. They decided to play an unreleased single titled Misfortune. Within the track, fans began to speculate that Boat spit some bars targeting Uzi. However, at the time, whatever name that Yachty dropped was censored. But due to the rhyming scheme he was on, it only seemed to make sense if it was Uzi. As the lyrics goes as follows: "No matter how bad they want to collab, I ain't friends with. I'd rather go CO at Juvie. I'd rather drink an onion smoothie. I never click up with the goofy. These guys wish the worst upon me and nothing happened to me." As you probably have noticed, Uzi's name would fit perfectly in rhyming with smoothie, juvie, and Toomey. Although many fans were calling out Yachty for this, he would seemingly deny it by stating on Twitter, "I didn't diss him. I said we won't collab because we're not friends. We aren't. We're cordial. Y'all are gay." He would then follow this up with some more tweets With these tweets, it seems like he was trying to keep his public reputation, as he wouldn't want people to know how highly he thinks of himself to even collab with Uzi. As he says in his lyrics, he'd rather go drink an onion smoothie. Ironically, 10 days following this incident, the track Mr. Fortune would fully leak online uncensored, in which it finally revealed that Yachty was in fact talking down on Uzi. This eventually caused many to twist on Yachty. As for starters, why diss someone then back down on it? Since fans finally received this confirmation, it only seemed like it was Yachty's greatest nightmare. Things would still be on the decline though, when Yachty would state that he has a verse on Drake's and Uzi's unreleased collab called At the Gates. Now this is what he could have been referring to with those lyrics I read earlier, since At the Gates was heavily rumored to be on For All the Dogs. This potentially confirms that Yachty could have prevented Uzi from being on Drake's project, since he played a significant role in the development of it. After all, they also were very tight with each other, so this theory would make sense. Uzi eventually would respond to Yachty on his Insta story saying that, "Y'all rappers that are be saying my name, be ready. I don't know what y'all think changed the boom back season." Oddly enough, it seemed like Uzi possibly let go of their beef, since they were praising him a few months back on DJ Academics' vlog.
Yeah, Yachty? Yachty's been around a long time. That's what I'm trying to tell you, and he still ain't even go nowhere. He's definitely a nigga that beat the wash allegations. Oh no, he beat the shit out of it.
DJ Academics would even ask Yachty himself what is his issue with Uzi on Yachty's podcast.
What is the you and Uzi thing, by the way? I did a vlog with him. He spoke good about you though.
Yeah, I seen it. Which surprised me.
Why? I feel like you hate on Uzi.
I never said about. I've never hated on Uzi ever.
To me, it's always been like subtle competition.
That's just hip hop. That's right. But I just, man, this shit.
Y'all seen this shit. He avoided this convo.
Regardless of the matter, Yachty knows that Uzi will always be bigger than him, which can be easily seen within their first week sales on their recent projects. To best close off Yachty's story, he would truly show his ego when stating that hip-hop is in a dead state right now, even though it can be said that he is part of the reason for where rap is today. After all, he came up with Uzi in the 2016 sound.
Come on now, this is literally when rap changed and he was in the pinnacle of it. All 5 of them. Shit was crazy. Like, who knew? Like, who really knew? They put on for their city. He's from Florida? Oh, yeah, because of X. Yeah. They're from Florida, Atlanta, and they got Philly. Atlanta got emos. Atlanta got the best rappers, hands down. Atlanta got Migos, Yachty, Carti, Thug, Future, Baby, Gunna, 21, Ken. Like, they got everybody.
Cloud era. At the end of the day, Yachty wants to hear the public's approval since no one truly notices what he's done for the genre. Even stated by Yachty that he deserves more credit than he actually receives. Overall, causing himself to build up his self-esteem by thinking he is better than his #1 competitor, Lil Uzi Vert. But who knows, since it's apparent that he wants to leave the hip-hop space after his psychedelic rock album, Let's Start Here. To finally close off the video, all 3 of these scenarios portrayed how relationships could easily tear apart when putting yourself first. Some even prevented what a good friendship could have possibly been. If anything was brought to light after this video, it's the competitiveness that comes from hip-hop. And well, what can be seen throughout all 3 of these situations? Maybe you shouldn't get close to the competition.